All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are breaking down day 29 of the After the Hurt healing journey. You know, if you've been following along with this material, you already know the sheer depth of the internal work that's been happening. But today, the dynamic completely shifts. We're looking at the ripple effect of healing and the beautiful responsibility of actually passing on all that hard-earned wisdom.
We're starting off with this incredible thought straight from the text. Wisdom becomes powerful when it is shared with love. It's such a perfect hook for what we're talking about today. Up until now, this whole journey has been so incredibly introspective, but this specific lesson pivots perfectly. It reminds us that the deep internal work we do, it's ultimately meant to be shared. It literally isn't just for us.
Section 1. The Healing Journey. Acknowledging the work done. Before we start looking outward, it is so crucial that we take a quick second to just acknowledge the incredibly deep, frankly heavy, internal work you've engaged with over the past 29 days.
Just think about the sheer amount of ground that's been covered here. We're talking trauma, healing, children, emotional safety, boundaries, rest, prayer, triggers, language, and community. I mean, wow, these are really weighty, complex topics. By wrestling with and mastering these concepts, you haven't just healed a part of yourself, you've basically gathered an absolute treasure trove of truths. And as the text explicitly points out, those truths can totally bless someone else too.
Which brings us to Section 2, Passing It On, the core concept. We're officially shifting gears today from internal reflection to external action.
So what is today's actual action item? It's simply to pass it on. Meaning sharing just one single thing you learned with someone outside of this cohort. Notice, it's not about writing a whole book or giving a massive hour-long lecture. It is just about taking one single truth you've gleaned from this healing circle and generously offering it to someone outside of it.
Moving right along to Section 3, Wisdom Meant to Travel, the Biblical Anchor. Let's actually unpack the foundational reasoning behind exactly why this wisdom needs to be shared.
The source material uses this really powerful anchor text from 2 Timothy 2:2 to drive the point home. And the things you have heard me say, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. This brilliantly illustrates that wisdom just isn't meant to sit still. It's not some shiny trophy you put on a shelf to admire. It is actively designed to travel, to be entrusted to other people, and to multiply.
And that brings us to, honestly, one of my absolute favorite takeaways from the text. Wisdom becomes a seed in someone else's life. Isn't that just a beautiful metaphor? Think about the very specific insights that helped you finally begin to heal your own hurt. When you pass those on, you are literally planting seeds in someone else's journey. You don't have to grow the entire tree for them, right? You just provide the seed.
All right, Section 4, Simple Truths to Share, Practical Application. You might be sitting there wondering, okay, that sounds great, but what exactly do I say? Well, the source material gives us some phenomenal, ready-to-go options that you can use today.
Here's a great one to start with. Sometimes behavior is communication. Whether it's a super frustrated kid acting out, or maybe a quiet friend who is just suddenly withdrawn, this is such a gentle yet profound reminder to look way beneath the surface of how people are acting. It helps us see the hidden message they might just not have the words for yet.
Or how about this one? Boundaries are wisdom, not bitterness. This is a vital little seed of wisdom when it comes to emotional safety. It totally reframes the entire idea of setting healthy relationship dynamics. It lets the listener know that, hey, protecting your peace, that's not an act of anger, it's an act of profound wisdom. Then there's this absolute gem. Healing is a journey, not a performance. Just think about how much pressure this instantly relieves. Passing this truth along takes away the immense, exhausting weight of having to seem perfectly fixed to the outside world. It just gives people permission to be a work in progress.
Now, if you're navigating family dynamics or parenting, this next one is an absolute game changer. Children need connection before correction. This is a highly practical, incredibly grounding reminder that completely changes the temperature of a difficult moment with a kid. It puts the priority right back on the relationship rather than forcing an immediate fix.
And finally, we have this deeply profound thought. Faith does not dismiss pain, faith brings pain to God. This is such a powerful statement about reconciling deeply held faith with intense, real-world emotional hurt. It fully acknowledges the raw reality of suffering without making you let go of your belief.
Which brings us to Section 5, the guidelines, how to share safely. So we've got the what, but the how is just as important.
The text provides some really crucial guidelines on exactly how to share these seeds of wisdom effectively, safely, and above all, respectfully.
So let's map this out. First, here is what you absolutely do not need to do. You don't have to preach. You don't have to explain every single detail, and you certainly shouldn't share with any pride, pressure, or judgment. Instead, here's what you should do. Keep it gentle. Keep it super simple. Just share one truth with absolute humility and love. The text really emphasizes this contrast because keeping it simple and humble, that protects both you, the giver of the wisdom, and the person receiving it. It keeps the whole exchange safe and ensures the focus stays exactly where it should be, on the message, not the messenger.
Finally, Section 6, a final reflection, closing the loop. Let's bring this all back home to your personal takeaway and your prayerful intention for the day.
The source text wraps up with this really beautiful closing prayer, and the specific excerpt perfectly solidifies the ultimate goal of everything we've talked about today. Let what I have learned bring hope, peace, and healing to someone else. That right there is the absolute heartbeat of passing it on.
And so we're going to wrap up exactly how the text prompts us to, leaving you with this really provocative reflection question to thoughtfully chew on as you go about the rest of your day. What truth is worth passing on?